and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I'm not making soap, I'm making lip butter, lip balms today again. And I used this once before, this little holder for my lip tubes. It was such a breeze to work with. I am loving it. So I'll be using this. I got this from Wholesale Supplies Plus. You can get it from several different places. This is just where I got it, but it fits a standard size lip balm tube really well. So I'll be using that for the fragrance today. Not a fragrance, essential oil. When I work with lip or things going on the face, I like essential oils. I'll be using a peppermint essential oil today, peppermint oil. And I'm calling this honey mint. Now, I don't put honey in my lip balms. I have tried. It is really hard to emulsify honey in a lip balm. I found that it just settles. It doesn't stay mixed well. I even tried a honey powder. I wasn't happy with, I felt like it was gritty. So anyway, the honey represented in my lip balm today is I have this home rendered local beeswax. There's a little propolis in here. I need to strain it again. But this actually smells like honey. It is so raw and wonderful that this is my honey in the honey mint lip balms, because I actually think you can pick up just a little bit of the honey in there. I think it's fabulous. That is the honey mint portion of the lip butter. I use a shea butter and cocoa butter, which is why I call it a lip butter. I think they're wonderful. When I'm out in the summer gardening and outside, I get very dry lips. I get dry lips in the winter and then in the summer with the sun exposure. So I really like a good buttery lip balm. And I will share the full recipe in the description box below and take you along step by step as I get this pulled together. And I'm actually going to show you how I melt down my big blocks of honey here, and I'm going to put them into smaller cubes, because these things are a bit of a beast to deal with. If you ever get beeswax in bulk, it's a mess. It's sticky. If you try to grate it, it's rock hard. It's just really hard to tackle with. So I'll show you how I'm going to break this down into bite-sized pieces that are easier to measure for smaller projects like lip balms, or when you do solid lotion bars, you need smaller units of beeswax, and these things are just a beast. If you try to cut it with a knife, it's hard. It's actually dangerous. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to melt it down into smaller portions that are easier to use for DIY crafting. We'll tackle this beeswax beast because it's so worth it. I think wonderful rendered. I love to support small apiaries that are keeping the bee population going in a healthy fashion, and they have very ethical ways to source the beeswax out of the hives. They're very kind to the bees and their whole just thing that goes on there. It's very complicated. I think apiaries and the people that do that are amazing. I'm intimidated by all that, and I'm just really thankful that some people are willing to tackle it. It's awesome. And I'll get everything pulled together. I'm going to get my hair pulled back, all my safety gear on, hairnet, sanitize the entire work surface, including the lip tubes. The way I sanitize, I wash everything with warm soapy water. Then I go in and spritz it down with 91% isopropyl alcohol and rub down and let it evaporate and get a nice clean surface. And then we will get to making these wonderful moisturizing lip butters. All right, I'm getting ready to melt my ginormous blocks of beeswax here. So what I do is, there's a couple ways I've done this. I just happen to have this metal olive oil container that I had gotten olive oil in, obviously used it up, but this is perfect because the seams are obviously leak proof because this had a liquid in it before, and this is relatively disposable. I can recycle this metal because whatever I melt my beeswax in, I want to designate it just for beeswax and or throw it away when I'm done, because it is just a sticky mess. So I've used this a couple of times, and so this is my beeswax pot. If you don't have something like this, I recommend head to your local thrift store and just grab an inexpensive pot and let that be your beeswax melting pot and use that. I've done that before too. For a couple $1 or $2, you can get a very inexpensive pot to melt your beeswax in. So today I'm using this. I am going to use a double boiler, so I'll put water in this big container, put it on my hot plate here, get my beeswax in and get it melting. It's going to take a while because this is really hard and my basement's cold, but so it just fits in there. I'm going to melt it all down. Once it's melted, I'll be pouring it into these little ice cube trays that have silicone bottoms so I can kind of pop them out. And if I have more than those ice cube trays, I've got these little bee molds and I'll go ahead and fill those. So just something, small units. These are 1 or 2 ounce, I forget, and these are 1 ounce, or yeah, about 1 or a half to 1 ounce. Just small units is what I'm going for. After this is all melted, I'll pour it off into there, let it sit and harden up, and then we'll be ready to get forward doing our lip balms. All right, I'm just going to get my little tray here loaded up with my lip balm tubes. They just stick right in here, and then when it's all filled up, it stands up nice and easy. So I'm going to get this loaded up, and then we'll get to making the lip balm. All right, it's time to add all the ingredients in here. I went ahead and poured my already melted beeswax in here at a rate of 26 grams, and I'm measuring in grams because it is such a small units of measurements here, and grams are a little more detailed. So 26 grams of beeswax is in here, and now I'm going to add coconut oil, and I get this organic coconut oil at Costco. You can use whatever coconut oil you want, but this is what I'm using, and I need 21 grams of coconut oil. So just get the little chunkies out here. And okay, so it's 22 grams, and that is okay. I was just going to say, if you know your oils are a teeny bit over or under, but you just want to shoot really close. So this is 22 grams of coconut oil that I'm using. And now I have cocoa butter is next, and I have these cocoa butter wafers because they are just very easy to manage and measure. Well, if I can get them with my gloves on. There we go. They just come in these wafers. These ones are refined. These are the refined ivory ones. These are from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I've gotten the natural yellow ones. I love them all. So whenever they go on sale, I grab some. I put cocoa butter in all my soap recipes, so I like to keep these on hand. Very easy to measure. I need 30 grams of cocoa butter. So let me tear this out. There you go. And we'll get up to 30. 30. All right, 30 grams of cocoa butter. Wait, it just bounced down. My scale's acting sketchy on me. Let's do another. All right, tear that out. Now I need 40 grams of shea butter. And this is my shea butter that I get from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Again, they have great sales sometimes, and I just stock up when they have a sale going on. So I got that teared out. I need 40 grams of shea. And so I like to preheat my beeswax because you don't want to overheat your shea butter. It can get grainy if you overheat it. It's not a big deal, but for, with lip butters, you really want a nice smooth texture. It's just part of the whole experience of a lip butter. And so that's why I like to preheat my beeswax, because it takes such a high temperature to melt it, and then come in with my other butters to not overheat them. So I will just get this melted, just past melting point for the shea butter. I won't overheat it. We're going up to 40. Let's see. There we go. 40 grams of shea. Now, 2 grams of vitamin E oil, and my scale is being a little sketchy, so if you, and that's a very small amount. So if you have trouble getting your scale to register, just a nice squeeze of vitamin E oil, but it's so nice in a lip gloss. But you don't want too much because it can get tacky feeling. So there, we'll do 2 squeezes of my of my vitamin E oil, 2 squeezes of that, to put this in the microwave and just pulse it in about 10 to 20 second bursts until this is just melted. Again, I don't want to overheat the shea butter. And then we'll come back when it's melted and add the peppermint essential oil. All right, so I wanted to show you, there's just a teeny little bit of cocoa butter in there, which is totally fine because the heat will just, this glass container keeps some of the heat from the microwave, continues. So now it's all melted down just to melting point. And I love the smell just of the natural oils. I think they smell great. So essential oils, they all have different usage rates. If you were using orange essential oil or a fragrant oil, you want to look that up. For the peppermint essential oil, we're dealing with such small amounts here. One of the things that I read for usage rates is 2 drops per tube, so you can just do the multiplication on how many tubes. To me, that seemed like a lot, so I will do less than that, maybe 1 drop per tube. And I have my little blobber here, my little pipette. So I'm going to just do, and of course, I like to let my nose be the guide. I want these to smell really nice and have a little bit of mint tingle on your lips, but not to be shocking, So I'm going to stir that in, see how it smells. I think that smells great. So that is less. I probably did maybe 1 drop per tube of lip for my peppermint. But again, just check your usage rates and let your nose guide you. So now it comes the time for me and my unsteady hands. I'm just going to simply try to pour as best as I can to hit the holes on here. And I tend to make a mess, and I have my little scraper tool off to the side. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to let them sit and cool, and then we'll come back when they're ready to take out of here, clean up, and label. I've got these all out of the little tray thing because they're cooled off, and I want to show you how to make the tops nice and smooth and glossy. I showed this on another video, and the gloves are off because I'm no longer touching the product. It's all safe in the tube. But here is how I get the tops nice and smooth. Handy dandy heat gun, and you're just going to very carefully just hit the top of each one of these. I'm talking before I turn it on because it's loud. And it will just gently melt the top and smooth out any of the sinkholes or any bumpiness on top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how it looks. And you just want to move it so you don't, get too hot in one spot. All right, and when they're all smoothed off, cooled off, I take a clean paper towel and I just go around the tube to make sure there isn't any, drips or anything on there so that would get in the way of the labels adhering. And I go just around the little lip there, take my cap, seal it off, and there is a finished lip balm, and I will get the labels all ready to go on these, and it's as simple as that. All right, so one more quick step I figured I'd show you before the labels come. I have just misted all these with 91% rubbing alcohol, and I have another clean paper towel, and I'm just going over each one to make sure they are squeaky clean and dry so the labels will adhere on here. The craft labels that I use don't have a super strong stick to them, and unless my bottles or my little tubes are perfectly clean, they don't stick very well. So that's what I'm doing, just polishing this up just one last time before we get the labels on, because I want those labels to stick really well. So there we go. Then I'll go get the labels, promise. So here are the labels that I use for lip balms. You can use any label you want. I like these. This is the craft color because it kind of goes with the theme of my shop. I just love craft paper. So if you can see, it has a little tab on it, and I'll show you when I wrap these. But after you get the label on there, your lip balm is sealed. And so they stay very It's nice, sanitary. Your customers know that nobody else has opened it up or sniffed it or got their face all in it. So I like the little tabs there. I got these from onlinelabels.com, and when you order from them, you get a free limited time to use their Maestro Label Designer, and that's where I design my labels too. So I'm going to go get these printed out, and then we'll come back and get these on the lip balms. So I've got them all printed out here, and here is how I wrap them. Each tube that I get, and I've got them from different manufacturers, have a little seam on the tube just from the making of the lip balm tube. And so I find the little seam, and that helps me get the label on straight because, you know, I don't always line them up perfectly. So tab side goes up where the cap is, and I find that little seam. Oh boy, line it up. And there it is. And I kind of press it down with my fingernails just to get it nice and tight on there. And there is a finished lip balm tube. Lip butter. And it's got the ingredients and the logo and the website and all the good stuff. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed this. Super easy to make these, and hope you give it a try. Have a great day.